bum,
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 bum.
Oh, it's a special Bendy on a Thursday. Welcome to another edition of the Blue Review with Lasers, presented by LAX. I'm Marcus Grant alongside Greg Bergman and Parker Bell. And the answer to the trivia question is Vinny Capra.
Vinny Capra is the answer to the trivia question. He
was,
deserves it. He deserves it for bunting anyway. Like it's his fault.
Yeah, look, he was strikeout number 3,000 in the illustrious career of Clayton Kershaw. It came on a called third strike to end the top of the sixth inning at Dodger Stadium. Everybody in the building, everybody watching at home, we all cheered and exhaled probably all at the same time. It was a little more treacherous getting there than I think we all anticipated, but we got there nonetheless. We'll dive into that and some other things. There's not all good news from last night, so we'll get into that as well. But first, let's give a shout out to LAX. As always, transforming the travel experience, saving guests time, and just trying to make things a whole lot more pleasant when you are on your journey. So for more information, you can go to flylx.com/transforminglax. Greg, was there ever a point last night when you thought maybe this just isn't going to happen?
Yes, absolutely there was. It was in the fifth inning with 2 outs. I just figured that's it. This isn't going to happen. He's going to get out of the inning, but then that's going to be it. Then he struck out. I forgot who it was, but he struck out somebody to end the
Sosa?
fifth.
Was it Lenyn Sosa, I think?
It might have been Sosa. And so he struck out Sosa, and you're like, okay, that's 2. You got to put him out there again. Dave, don't do it, Dave. I don't care how many pitches he has. I don't care what the score is. Put him out there again. And then Dave just sat there and didn't even look at him when he walked in. And so you knew, like, okay, he's coming back out.
Yeah. I mean, Parker, you and I yesterday sat on this show and we said, okay, it's going to be, our best guess was Miguel Vargas. Vargas did strike out. He struck out in the third. He was the first strikeout of the ball game. But yeah, I don't think, Parker, anybody anticipated that we would really be white knuckling this thing for him to get the 3 strikeouts against the Chicago. They turned into Luis Arias last night as a team.
Right. I mean, 13 or 14 guys reached a 2-strike count. And he also had, I think, his most swing and miss of the season. And the fact that it still took that long was just insane. I know our chat was popping off. And the fact that everybody was just on pins and needles. Everybody was on the edge of their seat. It was amazing to see. Shout out to Kershaw. It's so fun. Legendary moment. And I mean, he said it best. It's harder to strike out guys when you're actively trying to strike out.
Right.
Well, and when they know that, look, the White Sox knew that they were on the other side of history potentially. And I think as a team, they changed their approach last night. Like nobody wanted to be strikeout number 3,000. Nobody wanted to be that highlight that you're going to see forever and ever and ever. But somebody had to do it. And so, Vinny Capra, we thank you for your service. It was a roller coaster of emotion last night though, Greg, because you had the 3,000 strikeouts, then you had the Muncy injury, which we'll get into in a little bit. Yeah. And then you had the thrill of the walk-off win when it's all said and done. Freddie Freeman basically just calling game in the bottom of the 9th inning last night.
Yeah, I love seeing Freddie do it and have that big smile on his face afterwards. He's been struggling, starting to kind of figure it out a little bit, and that was a good one for him to get a shot in and then really be able to feel good about the start of July for him. But I just want to go back to Kershaw for a second. So just for all the stats that I can think of that are out there, he's the 20th pitcher all time to get to 3,000 strikeouts. He is the fourth left-hander to do it, and he is also the first left-hander to do it all with the same team. So that's
the third pitcher to do it all with the same team.
Third pitcher, all the same team, but he's the first left-handed pitcher. If you want to, baseball is all about the specific stats. The third inning with a rain delay, coming off of a rain delay, and the sun just shining through, the grass is just slightly moving left to right. Like those are baseball.
The Dodgers are the first team to have a comeback win in the 9th with a same game where a pitcher strikes out his 3,000th batter.
I love baseball stats. They're just the best when you go through that stuff. But also, I want to get it before we get into more stuff and just sticking in with Kershaw. First of all, we may never see this again. We may never see this again in our lifetime. We may never see it again ever, period. Anybody ever see it again. 3,000 strikeouts may become a thing of the past just for a variety of reasons that you have to stay healthy. So we were talking about it a little bit last night. You need to average 200 strikeouts for 15 consecutive. That is a very, very long time. And you have to stay healthy through all that time. Chris Sale is about 500 away, but he could very easily just continue being injured. He's injured right now. Who knows if he can stay healthy through the rest of it? At 36 years old, you don't know what that's going to turn into. He could turn into Verlander and Scherzer and pitch into their 40s, or he's somebody that just breaks down. It's all very, very possible. And also with the way that guys don't go deep into games anymore, 6-7 innings don't really happen that much. You got to strike out a ton of dudes in 5 or 6 innings. It's going to be a lot more difficult that way.
Yeah, and that's the thing we talked about yesterday, Parker and I, that Chris Sale is the guy who's maybe has the next realistic opportunity. I mean, like when he's healthy, he's still pitching at a very high level. But to your point, the injury bug has bitten him in a big way over the last few years. And with so many miles on that arm, you do wonder whether or not there's an opportunity. I mean, I say like one of the next closest guys was like Charlie Morton, but he's like 73 years old. So, like,
Garrett Cole is next.
Garrett Cole's also next. Yeah, but he's still like a good 900 strikeouts away from 3,000 and
at 34, and he's out for the year.
Yeah. So, I mean, it very well could be that Clayton Kershaw is the last of the 3,000 strikeout club. I mean, who knows if things come in cycles and we start to see in the future guys go deep into ball games again. I don't know if maybe a guy like a Paul Skeens can make it happen. A Tarek Skubal, like Jacob Mizorowski is the new hotness across Major League Baseball. Like maybe one of these guys puts it together, but right now, it's Clayton Kershaw, and we're closing the door behind him. I think for a little while before we see another one.
So. I have a game.
Yes.
If you don't mind. I
yes.
have a game.
I want to get to your game, please.
Thank you. I have a game that I saw online today. Clayton Kershaw has thrown a strikeout to, what was it, 4, 8, 12, 14 different pitchers. Or sorry, catchers. 14 different catchers. I'm not going to expect you to name all of them because some of them are ridiculous that you'll never even think of. But can you name me the 7 different catchers he threw at least 100 strikeouts to?
Ooh. Well, Austin Barnes, obvi.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Austin Barnes is second with 551.
Okay. So AJ is first. AJ Ellis.
AJ Ellis is first with 920.
Okay. So AJ Ellis, Austin Barnes.
Grandal,
very good, Parker. 451. He's third.
Oh, that's high. I thought.
Does Will Smith creep into the list?
Yes, Will Smith absolutely creeps into the list. He's fifth with 251. All right, now there's one super obvious one that's, if you really think about it, you'll get, and then there's 2 that are going to be very, very difficult.
I'm trying to think of.
Did we see one this year?
No.
Okay.
These are all older. Like think about when he first came out.
That's what I'm trying to think of. Like who was catching when?
Who were the stars around that time?
Came up. That would have been
the catcher. The
Russell?
He was based. Yeah,
was it Russell Martin. Yeah.
Russell.
He was too late for Paul LaDuca, right? LaDuca.
Yeah, too late for Paul LaDuca. Okay. Russell Martin is fourth with 379, and these last 2 are super hard. And if you get them, I'll be impressed. They are older ones. One of them, I just completely forgot that he was even on the Dodgers. But now that I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Wait,
but then, yeah,
is there an Angels manager on there? Former Angels manager?
No, Scioscia's definitely not Scioscia. Oh no,
Brad Ausmus.
Okay, so Brad Ausmus is on the list, but he has 55. So well done on that. He didn't make the 100 list.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. So one was also a catcher for, if I remember correctly, he was a catcher for the Texas Rangers.
Chat, help me out here.
I know. I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at the chat for help right now.
I'll give you the guys that are not 100. Dalton Rushing has 2. Matt Trainer has 11, if you remember Matt Trainer. Mm-hmm. Ramon Hernandez, who came over from the A's for a little bit. Ramon Hernandez had 17. Danny Ordwan is 19, which totally forgot about it. Tim Fedorovich has 22.
Okay.
Drew Brutera, who was always the backup for AJ Ellis, had 45.
Right.
And then these Ausmus, and then 2 left that are Jasmeet got 1. Good
There
job,
it is.
Jasny.
Good job, Jasmine.
All right.
Deanna Navarro.
Deanna Navarro. Okay.
Deanna Navarro is 8th with 171. There's only one guy left. Let me see if I like this game, so I want to just stick around with it for a little bit longer. Let's see. I'm going to get his teams, and I will tell you. So he did play for the Padres. I see. Padres. He was a. Where's my? Come on. All right. He played for the Diamondbacks, the Rangers, the Phillies, the Blue Jays, the Mets, the Dodgers, the Pirates, and he was with the Dodgers from 2010 to 2011. 2 years with the Dodgers, and he caught 171 of Kershaw's strikeouts.
171.
I don't think I could begin to tell you. like when you started, like you just kept naming teams. I'm like, well, this dude never was really good enough to stick in any one place.
He has 136 home runs, 480 he was a manager for a short time, looks like.
Wow.
Yeah. Interim manager for Andy Green after Andy Green got fired from the Padres.
Wow.
You ready?
Yeah.
Dodger Dave. Well done, Dodger Dave. Dodger Dave got it.
Rod Barajas. Wow.
I totally forgot he was a Dodger, too.
Wow.
And I was like,
Dodger Dave.
Dodger Dave. Well done. Ding,
that
ding,
was
ding,
excellent.
ding. Well done, Dodger Dave.
Done.
Well done,
yeah,
Dave.
You could have given me till next month. I wouldn't have come up with Rod Barajas.
Yeah. So that's pretty crazy, right? That he has that. It sounds not a lot of catchers to throw 3,000 strikeouts to.
Yeah.
To have 14 different catchers. I imagine teams like water. And instead, he always had AJ Ellis. He always had Austin Barnes.
Yeah.
He had Grandal for a long time. He just went to the same dudes always over and over and over again. I think that's a testament to him.
Absolutely a testament to him. Not only the longevity, the consistency, and I think it's a testament also to the organization to find those guys that they could keep in that spot and keep them together for so long, so that you just have. You can go back to Hershiser and Sosha, like guys that had just stayed together for so long in this organization as pitcher and catcher batteries. So that is amazing, and so hats off to Clayton Kershaw. We joked last night in our text chat, and then I guess Kershaw made the same joke about Ellen Kershaw and being relieved that she wasn't going to have to pack the kids on a flight to Milwaukee next week to go watch him chase strikeout number 3,000. So I think for her joy with her husband, celebrating this milestone, she's also like, I don't have to travel to Milwaukee next week, I'm sure as well. All right, let's kind of get to the unfortunate part of this from yesterday as well, because on top of the joy and the excitement and the elation of both the 3,000 strikeouts and the win, there is the issue of Max Muncy. Suffered a knee injury on a stolen base attempt, or when he was making a tag on a stolen base attempt in the 6th inning, collided with Michael A. Taylor, went down, was in obvious pain, was on the ground for a few minutes before being helped up and then helped into the clubhouse eventually. The Dodgers, next month he left the game with left knee pain, no bleep. As our friend Clint Pasillas tweeted, said, and Abraham Lincoln left Ford Theater with head pain. We're all aware of that. There is an MRI scheduled for today, so certainly by the end of the day, I expect we will know a little bit more, and hopefully by the weekend we'll know a whole lot more. Parker, the upside and also the worrying part of this is that after the game, Dave Roberts said all the tests look good and we are optimistic. on its face, that should be good news, but knowing Dave Roberts' history with injury reporting, that feels like a see you next year, Max Muncy.
Everybody's holding their breath, but when you hear Dave Roberts say they're hopeful and hopeful it's a strain, MRI scans to come, that usually does mean the complete opposite. And we're all thinking about Muncy. Very tough, somber moment, and of course a historical game. The visible severity, I think, is what really got me. You saw other angles once you saw on socials, and that knee went the opposite way. So it, to my mind, would be a miracle if we see that he just comes off with a strain, and that's what we're hoping for, Greg.
Yeah. Twitter docs, and Dr. David Chow, who used to work for the Chargers, and he has a thing called Six Score that he does, and he just talks about all of these different injuries that he saw. He was talking about it in the sense that it, at the very bottom possibility, it was a high grade MCL strain. Obviously, we're going to wait to what they say. We're not doctors. I'm just listening to what a doctor said. It was a high grade MCL strain, and that could be anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. At the earliest, he would be here at the beginning of August, and that would be like amazing. Obviously at the worst, it is a ACL strain, and that's, or tear, and that's obviously you're out for the year. You're done. I think that's what the way that I saw it. And I don't. You guys probably saw it the same. That looks like an ACL tear to me. Again, not a doctor, but the way that it looked, he looked like when his head hit the, who was it? Michael A. Taylor's head hit his knee, and he looked like a flamingo where he went back. So I just can't imagine, unless he has the strongest ligaments known to man. It just doesn't look good to me. But hopefully that's wrong, and he does come back, and it's not. And Dave is not lying to us, and it does look promising. But hopefully just a strain. But I can't imagine it's not worse.
Yeah,
it was bad.
Just the way he grabbed the knee as soon as he went down, that my first thought was ACL, right? That it was torn. It was sort of encouraging that he got up. He couldn't put any weight really on the leg once he stood up. It had to be helped into the locker room, and so it was bad. And I originally said I wasn't going to watch the replay, especially once they said on Sportsnet that they weren't going to show a replay. I'm like, maybe do I not want to see it? I watched it. It's not great. It definitely was more lateral than I think back and forth. So again, not being a doctor, I don't really know what that means in my own head canon. That means maybe it's not as bad. I also had the same thought, and Bubba Holmberg put this in the chat, and I had the same thought too. It felt like the elbow issue from a few years ago, when was it like, I was like last day of the regular season, I think it was.
Yeah, he was like trying to throw, and he got just smacked.
No, it was he was at first, but I think he caught it, right? And then the runner just happened to
hit him. By. Ran by and hit him.
The runner ran by, and I mean, it was purely incidental. It was definitely not an intentional thing for the elbow, but obviously that impacted him, not just for that postseason, but I think it really impacted him most of the following year as well.
Mm-hmm. Sure did.
So, again, I think everybody right now, we're all hoping for the best. We are fearing for the worst. The MRI scheduled for today. We'll get some sort of idea probably by the afternoon or the evening about what the initial diagnosis is. And then from there, I'm sure the Dodgers will start to kind of put together a timeline. But at least in the short term, no Max Muncy, which is a shame, obviously, because
so hot right now.
It's a lot, right? And he was playing so well after a really tough start to the season, had really been playing some good baseball. And so they're definitely going to miss him. Not just at the plate, too. Defensively, he really had cleaned things up from where he was at the beginning of the year. So I guess in the short term, Greg, Kike Hernandez over at third base.
Yeah.
Alex Freeland is coming.
Kike Hernandez, Miguel Rojas is probably going to do that. It's very interesting what they're going to do with Alex Freeland, because he's ready to come up. He's somebody that he doesn't really have anything left to do in the minor leagues, but also, will he get the runway as a young player to be able to play third base every single day? We thought they were going to do it with Ha-Seong Kim, and he's not getting that runway, and probably needs a little more time. So I just don't know if Andrew Friedman and Doc are going to just, let him have that time. If they don't, then it's going to look like, if it's really bad, a trade I would assume would be coming in. The Alex Freeland, I think he's ready, but it's also a young guy coming up with this team trying to win a World Series. I just don't know if they will have the patience to give him the runway. And I know they gave a lot of runway to Andy Pajes, but he had played last year and showed what he can do, and showed his arm, and showed a bunch of different things. So they did it at the beginning of this season. This is now in the middle of the season. I love the fact that it has, that they have such a large lead in the division, so you can kind of get away with it. But I'm just not positive they'll go with Freeland.
Yeah. What's tough, Marcus, is that, Greg, you mentioned it perfect. It's not the beginning of the season, but still at the same time, on that point, it's taxing on Miguel Rojas if you're throwing him out every day. So it
Kike.
would be good. Yeah, and Kike, but even then, the consistency is getting a little rougher later in his career. And Freeland, I want to see it. I mean, he's having one of the better AAA seasons of anyone in that league at the PCL. I think he's top ranks in doubles, extra base hits. He's a big extra base hit guy with a good OBP. And of course, his defense has been solid all year. So maybe we'll throw on Bruce Kuntz one of these days and get case, Muncy, you knock on wood, is down for longer. But Marcus, it's going to be interesting to see how they tackle this moving forward.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna have to figure out how to sort of navigate this. For again, we're saying right now, and this is just us speculating. Best case scenario, like absolute miracle scenario, is a month. Beyond that, it could be the rest of the season. That's kind of worst case. Freeland at this point just came off the injured list, spent 7 days on the IL down there in OKC, hitting 269, 10 homers, 59 runs batted in. Obviously one of the top prospects in the organization. We've seen Kim come up and be an impact player. We're seeing Dalton Rushing, I think, really starting to settle in. I know it's, I'm sure it's sort of frustrating for a lot of people because he's only going to play, a couple times a week, but that has always been the plan. I do feel like, after a bit of a tough stretch, he looks like he's getting more comfortable at the plate. I think he's having better at bats, but we also know that he's just never going to be a guy that's in there consistently as long as Will Smith is upright and healthy. So yeah, it remains to be seen what they do. I thought this last night, and I don't think it really comes to fruition, but any chance, if this is a season-ending injury, that we hear the Nolan Arenado chatter again?
I think you're going to hear the Nolan Arenado chatter from fans, from people that love the name Nolan Arenado. I think that's basically. I can't imagine that the Dodgers will go out and get Nolan Arenado. If you look up his contract while we're talking about this, it's a lot. There's a lot to his contract, and he has not been good. He hasn't been good this year. He wasn't good last year. He has been a mess. I think he was like an MVP candidate in 2022 or 2023, but since then everything has fallen off. And talking to Jeff last night on his show Dodger Heads, all of the underlying, all the nerd stats behind it are backing up that he's not good anymore. There's nothing showing there that, and this team loves analytics, there's nothing there that's showing Nolan Arenado is the guy to bring into this organization, except for his amazing defense. Like that is a massive plus, but it's more name value than anything, and they will not. Just can't imagine they take on that contract.
The other part of this too is I don't know I have no idea what the Cardinals want to do at the deadline, because they're sort of fading in the Central, but right now, I mean, as of this moment, they are the last wild card team. Like, they're in a wild card spot right now.
It's crazy.
So they've got some real tough decisions. Do we think we can actually do something? Are we buyers and we try to go for it and make a playoff run? Or do we think that we don't really have the horses and we're sellers and we're trying to set things up for next year? So the Cardinals have some really tough decisions. The Dodgers potentially have some really tough decisions based on what this MRI is going to tell us later on today. So who really knows about that? But yeah.
How crazy is this, by the way? Just real fast, looking at the wild card standings, the Padres and the Cardinals are tied for the last playoff spot. Mm-hmm. The Padres may not even get to the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, I was telling the Parker yesterday, like, a month ago, it looked like the NL West was going to have 3 teams in the postseason. Like, right now, it might only be one.
It might be just the Dodgers.
It might just be the Dodgers.
This is crazy.
And Marcus, we talked about just the MLB in general as we close out here. Only 9 teams are like away from a playoff spot. Yeah. Pretty much everyone else is within a game or two.
Yeah.
So that also makes the trade targets even more dangerous. And a lot of those third base targets are actually in the NL. They'll trade with the Dodgers. Eugenio, Ryan McMahon down there in Colorado. They're not going to trade with the Dodgers.
Nope. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. If you're the Rockies, why not? Because you're not threatening anybody right now.
The Yankees need a third baseman too, so they're going to be going after probably both these guys. I could see Suarez going to the Yankees because they just want to stick it to the Dodgers. I can see that happening.
Man, by the way, the Yankees in a first place tie now in the AL East.
It's wild.
And have walked them down, and the Rays only half a game back, so things getting tight in the AL East. Anyway, thinking the best for Max Muncy, hoping for the best there. Congratulations to Clayton Kershaw. Dodgers back in action tonight against the White Sox, trying to close out the 3-game sweep. I'm going to get ready for a really tough series against the Houston Astros coming up over the weekend. Not with you tomorrow because it is the 4th of July, so we'll be back
Happy
with
4th.
you on Monday. Enjoy your Independence Day, everybody. I'm certain that Travis and DeMarco will be recapping Clayton Kershaw and the Muncy situation coming up here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel and on the radio for you old school folks who like to do it that way. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to LAX, for Greg, for Parker. I am Marcus Grant. This has been Blue Review presented by LAX. Enjoy the holiday, everybody. Stay safe and happy and healthy, and we will see you on Monday, 8:30 to 8:55 right here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. See you.
Happy 4th.
Wholesale pricing all year long. No bogus markups, no tricks, just the best floors at the best prices. Call 866-62-FLOOR. No sale beats wholesale. Hernandez Wholesale Flooring. Check them out at hernandezwholesaleflooring.net or call them at 866-62-FLOOR.
For the best prices on hardwood, carpet, and more, call 866-62-FLOOR.
Have you checked out the new Park West Bicycle Casino? Only 9 miles from downtown LA, right off the 710? The bike has been reimagined with new ownership, renovations, and 200 table games. On July 1st and July 15th, buy in for $100 and get $100 in Lucky Chips plus $50 in free play chips. ESPN listeners get $30 in match play when they walk in and say, Cappy sent me. Park West Bicycle Casino. Real cards, real prizes, real close.
Please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER. GER